You won't believe what just went viral. Fantasia Barrino, the American Idol winner who once had to borrow $50 just to chase her dream, shared a simple back-to-school video of her son Dallas. On the surface, it looked like nothing more than a sweet moment. Her 8-year-old son stood in a black shirt, cargo shorts, face mask, and backpack, ready to start his first day of third grade. But let me tell you, this wasn't just a proud mom moment. This short video carried a story full of pain, struggle, controversy, and survival. What makes this story different is that this one video says more about Fantasia's life than most people know. It was quiet, emotional, and strong. But here's the shocking part. This heartwarming moment was never just about school. It was about everything Fantasia had been through to reach that morning. Years before this calm video ever existed, Fantasia was just a teenage girl in North Carolina, fighting for her life. She had her first child when she was just 17. No money, no support, and no clear path. At 19, she lived in the slums of High Point, where making ends meet was a daily fight. She didn't even have enough gas money to get to the audition for American Idol. She had to borrow $50 just to take the chance. And that's when destiny took an unexpected turn. That borrowed money gave her the shot of a lifetime. She not only got through the auditions, she won the entire season. Fantasia became a star almost overnight. But fame didn't fix everything. It brought more challenges than anyone expected. After becoming a public figure, Fantasia had to juggle her career while still being a single mother. The pressure was unreal. She was trying to take care of her family, keep her name clean, and fight off rumors. And when she had her second child, Dallas, things got even harder. Dallas's father, Antoine Cook, was already involved in drama that the public couldn't stop talking about. His name was linked to a cheating scandal that nearly ruined Fantasia's image. People judged her, questioned her morals, and accused her of breaking up a marriage. She stayed mostly quiet during that time, but the damage had already been done. She later admitted she tried to take her own life because she felt like she had no way out. That moment almost ended everything: her career, her motherhood, her life. But this is where it gets interesting. Fantasia didn't let her fall define her. Instead, she picked herself up. She released new music, wrote an autobiography titled Life is Not a Fairy Tale, and even starred in a movie about her own life. Slowly, she found her way back. And then came Kendall Taylor, the man who would help her turn everything around. He became a father figure to her children, especially Dallas. And in that back-to-school video, when he was seen quietly getting into the front seat of the car, that moment said everything. It showed a full circle journey. A boy who was born into controversy and confusion was now starting school with calm, support, and love. This was not just a school drop-off. It was proof that Fantasia had rebuilt her life. That morning held years of silent battles, personal storms, and healing. And yet, some people still found a way to criticize her. They said she posted the video for attention, for clout. But the craziest part is, she didn't even say a word in the video. It spoke for itself. People thought Fantasia was finally living her fairy tale. A beautiful family, a comeback story, and peace after years of pain. But here is the shocking part. Behind that peaceful moment with her son, old wounds were still fresh. Fantasia had come far, but her journey wasn't clean or easy. The drama with Dallas's father, Antoine Cook, had left a deep scar. Years ago, Fantasia was dragged into a legal mess when Cook's wife accused her of breaking up their marriage. The headlines were brutal. People called her a homewrecker, even though she stayed silent about most of it. She was judged not as an artist or a mother, but as a woman who made the wrong choices. What the public didn't know was how deeply that affected her mental health. She said she felt worthless, like her life no longer had meaning. That led her to a moment where she overdosed and nearly died. That wasn't just a cry for help. It was the lowest point of her life. But destiny took another unexpected turn when Kendall Taylor walked into her life. Kendall wasn't perfect either. He had his own past, his own battles, but he was different. He saw Fantasia for who she really was, not for what the media had painted her to be. Slowly, they built something strong. He didn't just marry her, he helped her heal. And most importantly, he stood by her children like a real father. Dallas, the child born in the middle of the chaos, finally had stability. And that's what made that back to school video so powerful. Seeing Kendall in the front seat wasn't just a small detail. It was proof that Fantasia didn't give up on love, on motherhood, or on life. Still, the internet can be cruel. The moment that touched so many hearts also invited a wave of criticism. Some people called the video staged, others said it was too polished to be real. Why post such a private moment, they asked, and why now? But let me tell you, this wasn't about showing off. This was about marking a victory. After everything she'd been through, Fantasia had every right to celebrate a normal day. Because for someone who almost didn't make it, normal is a miracle. That video showed a healthy child, a steady relationship, and a woman who had fought her way back to joy. It wasn't just content for likes, it was proof of survival. What makes this story different is that it didn't come from a place of perfection. It came from rock bottom. Fantasia's story has always been about rebuilding. She didn't hide her pain, she sang through it. Her songs like Lose to Win and Bittersweet were more than just hits, they were real-life confessions. Every lyric, every note came from somewhere deep inside. And now, years later, that same emotion was captured in silence, in a simple video of a mother watching her son go off to school. But this is where it gets even more interesting. While most people celebrated her moment, others brought up the past again. Old interviews, court papers, and media headlines started circulating online. People asked if she ever made peace with Antoine Cook. They wanted to know if her son Dallas would grow up to understand the drama he was born into. The craziest part is that while the world keeps bringing up the controversy, Fantasia keeps moving forward. She doesn't argue, she doesn't explain, she simply lives. And maybe that's her biggest victory yet. As the video of Dallas stepping into the car made rounds online, fans couldn't stop talking. Some were emotional, others were curious, but everyone had one question. How did Fantasia turn her story around so powerfully? Let me tell you, the answer wasn't just luck. Fantasia's life had been a long war with herself, her past, and the way the world saw her. She didn't just rise once, she had to rise again and again, each time after being knocked down harder than before. After the drama with Antoine Cook faded from the headlines, Fantasia focused on protecting what mattered most, her children. She always said her kids were her greatest blessing. Her career could come and go, but her kids, they were her reason to live. Dallas especially became a symbol of hope for her. Born into chaos, he became her light in the darkest times. Fantasia once said in an interview, "My children are my kids, and my music is my blessing, and I want to be good to both." Those words weren't just a quote, they were a promise she made to herself. But here is the shocking part. Even with success and love, Fantasia still had to fight for peace. The music industry had changed. New artists were rising. Some people forgot about her, while others labeled her as washed up. She was no longer the fresh-faced American Idol winner. She was a woman with a past. And in the entertainment world, people never forget your past. That's why that school video hit different. It didn't scream for attention. It whispered something more powerful. I made it through. She didn't need fancy clothes, expensive sets, or dramatic speeches. A quiet, everyday moment said everything. Still, what makes this story different is how Fantasia carried herself through all the mess. Most people in her position would have snapped back, released statements, clapped back on social media. But Fantasia chose something else. She chose silence, healing, and peace. And that silence made the noise even louder. The fact that she could post a calm family video and still go viral proved one thing. People were still watching her, still rooting for her, still obsessed with her journey. But this is where it gets interesting. While most people were reacting to the video, others started noticing the bigger picture. They pointed out how Dallas looked confident, secure, and happy. Something that doesn't just happen by accident. It happens when a child is loved and protected. It happens when a mother sacrifices her reputation, career, and peace of mind to create something stable. That was Fantasia's real achievement, not the fame, not the awards, but that moment right there when her son walked into a new school year without fear. The craziest part? Fantasia never asked for praise. She didn't explain the moment. She didn't try to trend. She just posted the video and let the world feel whatever it felt. And maybe that's the most powerful kind of storytelling, the one that doesn't need words. Just a mother, a child, a car door opening, and years of survival behind it. Now, as the dust settled around that simple video, people started to look deeper. This wasn't just about a third grader starting school. It was about a woman who had walked through fire and still managed to hold her family together. Fantasia didn't just survive, she transformed. She turned judgment into wisdom, heartbreak into strength, and controversy into growth. But here's the shocking part. Even now, some people still try to define her by her past. They still bring up the scandals, the court cases, the overdose, the public mistakes. But what they fail to see is the full picture. They see the headlines, but not the healing. They see the fall, but not the rise. You won't believe how far she's come. That young girl from High Point, North Carolina, the one who had to borrow $50, the one who sang for her life on American Idol, the one who got called everything except strong, is now raising confident kids, running businesses, writing books, and helping others heal. And while people may still whisper about her past, she's too busy building a legacy to care. That's what made the moment with Dallas so powerful. It wasn't loud, it wasn't fancy, but it was real. And real, in a world full of fake smiles and curated images, hits different. Let me tell you, Fantasia's story is not about being perfect, it's about being real. She didn't hide her scars, she showed them. And in doing so, she helped so many people who thought they were alone. Fans still send her messages saying, "Your music saved me," or "You gave me hope." Because when you come from pain and turn it into purpose, you don't just inspire, you lead. And she led without ever needing to say, "Look at me." She just lived her truth. What makes this story different? It's the fact that it came full circle. A young mom once looked at her baby boy in a hospital bed, scared and unsure. Years later, she stood behind a camera, watching that same boy, healthy and happy, step into a car with love on both sides of him. That is destiny. That is grace. That is the beauty of not giving up. The craziest part is the story isn't even over yet. Fantasia is still rising, still working, still surprising the world. And if this one quiet moment with her son showed us anything, it's that the strongest people don't always need to shout. Sometimes they just keep walking, keep loving, and keep showing up. And that's exactly what she did. So the next time someone tries to remind you of who Fantasia was, just show them who she is: a fighter, a mother, a survivor, a legend.